The WARDOGS beta is over, and I already want it back. In my last video, I said goodbye to Frontline Scavenge after putting nearly 2,000 hours into that project. And then at almost the perfect time, WARDOGS appeared with 100 players and one massive battlefield designed to create absolute chaos. On paper, WARDOGS sounded dangerously close to a list of everything that normally destroys my sleep schedule. And then I played the beta and, well, yeah, it got me. It has me in its clutches. Why? It wasn't one particular gun, vehicle, or mechanic that sold me. It was kind of the unscripted stuff that starts happening when a lot of players are given a simple objective and enough freedom to make their own terrible decisions. That was always the best part of Arma for me as well. You can design all the systems you want, you know, make a full map, make a whole custom mode, but the moments that people remember are usually the unscripted stuff that no one planned. Oh my god. And I'm not pretending a beta proved that WARDOGS is perfect. It didn't need to. It proved there is an actual game here that I genuinely want to keep playing. The good news is that early access starts on September 10th, so this isn't gonna be like a 6-year wait for another game that eventually gets cancelled or, God forbid, it gets turned into a mobile game or something. But the beta servers are gone now, and now that I know that I'm waiting for WARDOGS, I started wondering, what else am I waiting for right now? This video is not a top 5 ranking at all, and these are not 5 games that you can download tonight as a WARDOGS replacement. I mean, one of them is already playable, one has a huge update arriving in a few days, and some of the others don't even have proper release dates yet. This is simply my tactical FPS shooter game waiting list 2026. And somehow it starts with a game that's already out. BODYCAM. BODYCAM has already been featured on the channel. Some of you might remember my very educational guide on how to stop sucking at BODYCAM. The game has always been brilliant at one specific thing: making a gunfight look and sound like something your lawyer has advised you not to discuss. The weapons are deafening, the body camera perspective makes every movement feel a little unstable, and when someone suddenly appears a couple meters in front of you, your brain kinda needs a second to remember that you're looking at a video game and not just a video. But looking realistic and being a deep game are not the same thing. BODYCAM has looked incredible from day one. I mean, I even got a new GPU just to properly play this thing. But the actual game underneath those visuals, people have complained that it's sometimes a little thin. That is why the new locked and loaded update matters so much. The new update launches on September 2nd with reworked weapon animations, a proper loadout and customization system, a bunch of attachments, rebuilt audio, progression changes, technical improvements, and a new environment. There's also a limited test happening before release, with access being handed out in phases, so it's not really a guaranteed access for everyone, but the complete update is free and arrives only a few days later. The bit that obviously caught my attention is the new trench map. This isn't just one narrow trench with 12 people spawning behind each other, it's a much larger map, mixing close quarters fighting with longer range combat, underground tunnels, ruined positions, changing weather, and dedicated areas for things like FPV drones and even some RCXD cars. If the new update gives the gameplay the same upgrade that BODYCAM's visuals have always deserved, I think this could be a brutally fun game with a group of people from Discord, assuming everyone owns a NASA level of computer. And because somebody mentions it every time BODYCAM appears, yes, Unrecord is still alive. It uses the same BODYCAM style visual hook, but it is a completely separate single-player tactical police game, built around an investigation and a proper story. Unrecord does not have a release date yet, so you know, that can go directly into the waiting pile as an honorable mention, I guess. BODYCAM is only adding one trench map though. The next game I want to talk about looks like it wants to build an entire modern war sandbox around them. Glory to the Heroes. Now, Glory to the Heroes might be the game here that is the most aggressively aimed at my exact interests. Destroyed Ukrainian towns, muddy trenches, infantry moving through broken tree lines, artillery, vehicles, FPV drones, all these things making sure that nowhere feels completely safe. And instead of playing as another invincible Spec Ops operator wearing everything he can fit on his Picatinny rail, you begin as an ordinary enlisted soldier. Obviously, this is depicting the real Russian-Ukrainian war, which is still happening, and it is still destroying real lives. I'm interested in how the game represents modern warfare and in the systems that it's building. I'm not trying to find anything entertaining about the reality behind it. As a game though, the ambition is enormous. I mean, the developers are describing PvP, PvE, and PvPvE milsim using real-world battlefield data and photogrammetry. It has close-range infantry fighting, it'll have massive combined arms operations, persistent equipment, detailed injuries, advanced ballistics, and gear that you can actually lose when you die. Anyone who played Frontline Scavenge should immediately understand why those last few things got my attention. I want a modern battlefield where your gear actually matters, where you are carrying an AK rather than, you know, the magical laser rifle from Bingalopius, where crossing one exposed field can be a bigger decision than choosing which of the 17 objectives you have to fast travel to. Glory to the Heroes looks like it could deliver that ugly, grounded, blue versus red infantry warfare I've been looking for. Or it could collapse under the weight of its own feature list, because this game is promising an almost irresponsible amount of game. It is still considered pre-alpha, access is limited to ongoing testing, and while Steam currently lists it as planned 2026, there's no real release date set. So I'm extremely interested, obviously, but I'm keeping both feet on the ground until we can properly play it. If Glory to the Heroes is trying to show the war as one massive player-driven battlefield, I think the next game is approaching that same setting, but from a completely opposite direction. 3 Days. 3 Days is a tactical FPS inspired by real-life events from the real-life war in Ukraine. Its main focus is individual soldiers and their story, not a massive sandbox. The game is built for single-player and multiplayer. The developers say they are using photogrammetry to recreate real Ukrainian servicemen and veterans, while locations including Azovstal and Bakhmut are being reconstructed from maps, photos, videos, and eyewitness accounts. That is actually what made me stop and look at it, because normally I really don't care about story mode. Give me a weapon, point me towards the problem, and keep the cutscene short enough so that I don't start checking my phone. But this is different. These aren't fictional countries fighting over a magical briefcase. The developers are trying to preserve and tell real stories from a war that is still happening. That also means they need to handle it properly. A true story is not automatically a good story, and saying something is respectful is much easier than proving it is respectful. The gameplay, writing, and presentation are all gonna have to carry that massive weight. But if they manage it, I think 3 Days could offer something most tactical shooters never even attempt. Good gameplay and co-op missions with actual human reason to care about all these virtual people inside. There's no release date yet. Steam says coming soon, so this one may require some serious patience. Then again, not every game needs an emotional campaign to be fun. Sometimes, you know, you see something charging directly at you with a blunt object, and the only story that matters is deciding which of you gets buried in the next cutscene. Terminal War. Terminal War is a grounded 4v4 third-person shooter set in a fractured America in 1999, 7 years after a fictional World War III. And yes, it definitely looks like somebody got tired of waiting for the Last of Us factions and decided to start building one themselves. A big respect to you guys. If it doesn't exist, just make it. It has no connection to The Last of Us, obviously, but the abandoned American environments, fighting in small teams, having to scavenge supplies and find scarce ammo and, you know, extremely personal violence are all just scratching that Last of Us itch. The guns look dangerous, but in my honest opinion, the melee is what really sells the mood. It looks kinda slow, you know, it looks kinda heavy, and it looks properly desperate. Nobody is doing a glowing superhero finisher from COD. It looks like two exhausted people fighting over whatever is left, and one of them has just found a little hammer in a closet somewhere, and, you know, it's you or them. And that is why this game doesn't need a 20-hour campaign to interest me. If someone is sprinting at you through a ruined building, you're gonna take whatever you can find and properly introduce their forehead as quickly as possible. There's still a lot we don't know about Terminal War. I know that it's being made by a small studio, and I know that it doesn't have a release date yet. Its early access launch is planned around a fairly compact 4v4 experience, and in multiplayer games, the game lives and dies by the player base, so looking good in a trailer is only the first problem it has to solve. But as an unofficial answer to the faction-shaped hole that Naughty Dog left in our hearts, I absolutely want to see where it goes. So BODYCAM's gonna have an update on September 2nd, WARDOGS is gonna enter early access on September 10th, Glory to the Heroes is aiming for 2026, and 3 Days, Terminal War, and Unrecord are all sitting somewhere inside the extremely helpful release window known as coming soon. The WARDOGS beta ended, and I somehow solved that problem by finding even more games that I can't play yet. Brilliant. A round of applause for the boys. We did it. We really did it, boys! Let me know which one of these you're most interested in, and which one we should drag the Discord into first when we can actually play it. If there's another brutal tactical shooter I should be waiting for, I know you guys probably know a couple of them. Put them down in the comments, I'll check them out. Apparently I collect games now that I can't play yet, so thank you for that. Thank you very much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed the video. My name is TJ, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.